Ademola Lookman, I don't even know why this should be a conversation. He is the clear favorite to win the African Player of the Year award. I don't see anybody that can stand close to him. He has been consistent from January till now for club and country. He is a clear winner in my books, and nobody comes close. Nobody.
I think we should just give him the award already, although they've not given out the award.
It's safe to just give it to him.
Scored and gave an assist in national team.
He did not just score. Brilliant goal, brilliant assist.
Yes, and even in national team, we know what he has done for Nigeria. I think he's the highest scorer in Nigeria this year.
Yeah.
We look at how it's been a fantastic season for him, and no African player comes close. Talk about Salah, who would always come up in the list, but you can't compare his season with that of Lookman. Lookman has risen shoulder ahead of him in weight, even in the Europa League finals, where he was the first player to score a hat-trick. So you look at this thing, no player comes, it's just very clear. It's so clear for him compared to other years where we see other players rise up. Other African players have not been able to get that good as Lookman has done for Atalanta.
But people are mentioning Brahim Diaz,
the person that just switched that had to switch nationalities because of Yamal, that has played no AFCON. That warms the bench for Real Madrid.
Honestly, I think it's even ridiculous that people are even bringing up that name.
It's ridiculous.
But in terms of contenders for it, who are the players that you think?
Surprisingly, if I'm to mention 5 names, aside Lookman, I will mention Guirassy.
Yeah, 30 goals in 30
I will also
games.
mention Victor Boniface.
Yes.
I will mention Trustekong.
AFCON.
And I will mention Soufiane Raimi.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know there's one name that you're forgetting?
Okay, tell me.
Aubameyang.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Aubameyang was top scorer in Europa League, best player.
True.
And he had a
good Ligue 1 season
as
too.
well.
Yeah. But you know, based on trophies, and that's where Ademola Lookman just edges AFCON as well. And you know, Ademola Lookman had about 19 Man of the Match awards. If you include yesterday, he has just been unplayable. Honestly.
Yeah, to be honest.
And I think the biggest indication is that he's the only African in the Ballon d'Or nomination. That says a lot.
Yes, and if you look at the country that won the the AFCON, which is Ivory Coast. No player there that even you can't look at them and call any player out of. If not, that would have been a big push. If so, Kessie, no, you can't.
Serhou for fun.
They don't have a fan. That is just apart from the AFCON. Look at their club season; it's not been brilliant.
Plus the fact that they won AFCON and they didn't even have the best player of the tournament. It was still Nigeria that had.
They won it based on motivation.
Like everybody was just chipping in.
If
in every round.
If Lookman does not win this thing, they should scrap that award. As in, I like the energy that I'm seeing from Nigerians on social media pushing Lookman every day because he deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
He's even a better option than when Osimhen won it last year. I think he's even clear because his competitors are not close to him.
Osimhen had more competitors that when he
Salah
won.
Salah was pushing him close.
Was pushing him close. Just that it was an exceptional season with Napoli. Their title drought,
and that was the World Cup year.
The World Cup,
yeah. So
and Nigeria didn't even play in that World Cup.
So that was
yeah. So it's all out for him. I don't see any player coming close. But yes, I know Diaz is a Madrid player, but I can't root it in for him. He hasn't done so much for me to now say.
Not even a starter.
Yes, not being a starter. But you know one thing that will bring his name in when you're playing for Madrid.
Doesn't matter.
It takes you up.
I don't care.
It matters.
But I want to ask you though, as the expert on like African football, are there like maybe 2-3 people that you would put at least in the nominees list from like Africa that are based in Africa? Because if we remember back then when we had Abutrika doing everything, and despite that he was never given the award, they had to create another award entirely just to compensate him. Do you think there are any standout players
if there's any player you want to look at, it has to be first of the South African Pesitao. Pesitao is one player that has been consistent even for his national team, even for when he plays. So
and he had a good AFCON.
Yeah, and he had a good. Maybe you can. And let's not forget we have Stanley Nwabali. You can call him to
Williams.
I would have said Williams, but because he's a goalkeeper.
But then we can always give shots for goalkeepers because they're also players. They do a lot of dirty jobs that people do not give them credit for. If you look at the game with Nigeria played against Benin Republic, good things from Stanley Nwabali. They are good. If you see those shots, he was able to keep calm before Lookman even got to score those goals when we had those missed chances. So those are players. But I think one player that's always stood out has to be Pesitao. that guy for South Africa. For like, he's more of like also the face of African football. I mean, in the continent, not globally. In the continent, Percy Tau stands out for me. So another of our player too that is doing quite well, although he's in one of those leagues.
What's the name now?
Victor Bauma now. He's highest goal scorer in one league now. Is it easy to be highest goal scorer? No, last season he was. He won. Yeah, he was the highest goal scorer. Double figures. Mother. Yes, Victor Bauma.
And they had
Chijoke
as top scorer here.
For the Nigerian Premier Football
Maybe
League.
That's the name for goal scorers.
You need to be a Bauma so that.
So, do you think that any of these players should be like maybe in the top 10 or top 5?
No, I can't say for top 5. I can't say for top 5. No, you look at the players that I've mentioned. So they've also had a good on what. If there's any player who wants to be for top 5, it's still going to be Percy Tau, but not top 5. Yes. Not. I'm saying if
why is there a bias against African players playing in Africa?
It's not a bias. You know, for every league there's a strength that comes with it, and that's.
I would say the Egyptian league, for instance, and South African leagues, they can.
No, they are very good now. No, but I'm saying for the rankings, you know that the top 5 leagues we have in Europe, they are still higher than the African leagues that we have, than the African league that we have.
So I think it's personally more about exposure, anyways, because we watch
exposure matters.
But if it's about the watching, to the other leagues, the Egyptian league is there on TV. You also have the South African league,
top league.
Even the Ethiopian league is also
Tunisian
on TV.
League also.
Tunisian league. So those are the things. It's not just the exposure. I feel every league has their own strength, and even these players, although apart from South Africa, where players like to stay in their league because of the financial muscle, it works out for them. That's why it works for them when it comes to the national team. There's this cohesion we see with the team.
So verdict.
Verdict. It's good when all 3 of us here on set agree, and I think we can all agree that Ademola Lookman is the clear winner for the CAF African Player of the Year award. And on that note, we can say that's all we have time for you in this video. Tell us in the comment section below, do you disagree with us? If Ademola Lookman does not deserve the award, then who does? Or who are the likely competitors, and who are those standing in his way? We have given you our thoughts. We think he is the likely winner, and we think he should be the one to win it. Until we come your way next time, stay cool.